The hardest part of faith was never believing God can answer. It's believing He's still there when He doesn't. Because sometimes you pray and nothing changes. You ask Him to heal something, it still hurts. You ask Him to open a door, it stays closed. You ask Him to bring someone back, to fix your family, to give you direction, and you keep waiting. And after a while, the silence starts to feel personal. God, did you hear me? Did I do something wrong? Have you forgotten about me? If you've ever prayed those words, I need you to hear something before we go any further. Feeling forgotten by God is not the same thing as being forgotten by God. Think about Jesus, the night before His death. He knew exactly what was coming, and He didn't pretend He wasn't afraid. Matthew 26:39 tells us He went into the garden and prayed, "My Father, if it is possible, may this cup be taken from me. Yet not as I will, but as you will." He didn't hide His fear. He didn't perform peace He didn't feel. He brought the real thing to God and asked honestly if there was another way. And then came the hardest part for us to sit with. God's answer wasn't the answer Jesus asked for. The suffering wasn't removed. The road wasn't changed. The cup didn't disappear. And Jesus continued anyway. Then came the cross. And in the middle of that suffering, Jesus cried out the words of Psalm 22:1. Matthew 27:46 records it, my God, why have you forsaken me?" In that moment, experiencing what felt like complete abandonment. Isn't that exactly where some of us are right now? God, where are you? Why aren't you doing something? Why did you let this happen to me? Maybe the hardest part isn't even the pain. Maybe it's the silence, because when you're hurting and you can't see God moving, your mind starts filling in the quiet with its own conclusions. Maybe He doesn't care. Maybe my prayers don't matter. Maybe He's moved on from me. But listen carefully. Silence is not abandonment. You may not feel His presence right now, but your feelings are not proof that He's left. Sometimes faith is simply believing He's present when you cannot feel it. Here's what I need you to remember next. The story didn't end at the cross. What looked like defeat became resurrection. What looked like God's absence became the center of the greatest purpose in history. What looked like the end wasn't. You're looking at one chapter of your life right now, wondering why God would allow it, but you don't know what the next chapter holds. You can see the pain. God can see the whole story. You can see the closed door. God can see what's behind it. You can see the waiting. God can see what's growing inside it. I'm not going to tell you everything happens for a reason and expect that to erase what you're carrying. Some things genuinely hurt. Some prayers are hard to even say out loud. Some seasons leave you with more questions than answers. But here's what I've learned. When you don't understand God's hand, you can still trust His heart. That's what faith actually looks like sometimes. Not God, I understand everything, but God, I don't understand this. I don't like this. I wouldn't have chosen this. But I still choose to trust you. If tonight all you can pray is God, I don't understand, then pray that. That's not weak faith. That's faith, honestly spoken. And if this season has brought you to a heaviness that feels like more than you can carry alone, please also let someone carry it with you, a counselor, a doctor, a friend who won't flinch from your honesty. Trusting God and reaching for support were never meant to be opposites. The delay does not mean denial. The silence does not mean absence. The closed door does not mean the end. So if you're tired of waiting, keep praying. If you're disappointed, tell Him. If you're angry, afraid, unsure, bring all of it to Him. He can hold it. You have not been forgotten. The God who was with you before this storm is still with you inside it. And one day, you may look back on this exact season and realize, even in the silence, He never let go. If this reached something in you tonight, type "I'm still held" in the comments. Let's remind each other we're not walking through this alone. And if you want more honest, gentle words like this one, stay close. subscribe, and let's keep walking through the hard seasons together, because your story is not over.